Hello, first video for a while that I've done by myself without Katie, and I thought I'd take a break from reacting to everything and instead... Oh no, wait, this is a reaction. I thought I'd take a break from reacting to shows and films and stuff like that and go back to my roots, which is reacting to badly written Star Wars stuff. So this is an article on 80s kids, which I don't know what that is. I've never heard of it before, but maybe you have. And it's 20 reasons why Star Wars The Last Jedi is the best film in the saga so far. Now, obviously this was written before we found out that Last Jedi was... The Rise of Skywalker was the last in the series. So I'm just going to read this, see what reasons they had. If you want to read it, I'll put the link in the description. But it's just going to be ragey, you know me with Star Wars. If they don't have my opinion, then they're wrong. So this is the 20 reasons why Star Wars The Last Jedi is the best film in the saga so far. Saga's over with. Okay, I'm pretty sure most Star Wars fans agree that The Rise of Skywalker is terrible. Most of them do. People who don't care all that much about Star Wars think it's okay because it's a big sort of firework display to them, but to most Star Wars fans, it's not very good. Oh look, there's Obi-Wan. Stop dazzling us, Ewan McGregor. Right. While we appreciate... Oh god, I already hate the first one. While we appreciate that 2017 Star Wars Last Jedi was intensely polarising and made choices that upset many long-time devotees, we're frankly baffled by suggestions that it was somehow the anti-Star Wars. It was the anti-Star Wars. Quite the contrary. Not only did The Last Jedi breathe new life into the universe, it's also, in our opinion, genuinely the best Star Wars film yet. Oh god. Agree or disagree? Consider the following points. It boldly breaks with series conventions. I'm getting sick and tired of people saying things like this. It boldly breaks with series convention. Right? Before I even read the reason behind this being on the list, I can tell you that this is a dumb argument for why this is a good film. In an established universe, right, 7 movies in at this point, it's not a good idea to boldly break with series convention. The thing that makes up so much of the money, so much of the fan base, is the fact that the story is a good story that follows a defined path. Now, obviously, people might say, "Well, okay, well that's a bit doesn't that get predictable?" Yes, doesn't stop it from being a good movie. Right, but let's see what this. Oh, also, I didn't say who wrote it. Who wrote it? By Benb. 2015 Star Wars The Force Awakens, the first film which was widely and not unjustly criticised for adhering so rigidly to the same potential plot as 1977's original Star Wars New Hope. Yep. George Lucas' film. Generates a new Luke Skywalker, there's a new Darth Vader at the Star Killer base, a new Death Star. Okay, completely agree with all of that. However, with 2020 hindsight, people didn't hate The Force Awakens as much as they hated this movie. And I suppose I'll talk about more depending on what the other reasons are. It seems strange then that so much of the fact that Last Jedi attracted was down to the fact that it strayed so far from what was expected of Star Wars. Star Wars enthusiasts, some of them the same people called The Force Awakens too. It's too different to truly be Star Wars. It's a legitimate argument to me, but then again, isn't it exactly what so many of them... Right, okay, so you can't say just because we hated The Force Awakens that we can't also hate The Last Jedi. The reason people didn't like The Force Awakens, right, is not just because of Rey, Kylo Ren, and Darth and Starkiller base, right? That's not the only reason. To be fair, people didn't hate The Force Awakens. I was criticising it as well for being too much like A New Hope, but I didn't hate it. It looked nice and it was well acted for what it was, which was a Disney comedy. Essentially, it was essentially Independence Day, but like now. And I didn't hate it. I didn't hate it like Last Jedi, and I don't think most fans hated it. They just didn't like it as much as others. You know, when you say, okay, we're going to make a Star Wars film after like what 10 years and whatever, and it's going to be the sequels, it's going to be afterwards. You know, you build up a lot of hope, and if all you're going to do is rehash one of the old ones, well, we just say, well, why don't we just go and watch the old ones? Thing is, with The Last Jedi, it's not even just a little bit, it's completely different. It is completely like out there. It's completely wrong, and it doesn't make any sense to this universe, which is 7 movies in. It would be like in Marvel, right, in the MCU, let's say that. If in Endgame, you know the bit where Captain Marvel flies, she just flies in and she destroys Sanctuary 1 or whatever Thanos' ship's called. And, you know, it would have been essentially, if that had been Superman flying in, Marvel fans would have went, well, that doesn't make any sense, Superman isn't part of the thing. And then the director turns around and goes, well, you weren't expecting it. Lol. We didn't want it, though. Didn't want it. What we wanted an original movie written by a guy who loved Star Wars and wanted to continue a good story. There's so much canon, so much extended classic legends, whatever you want to call them, that you could have taken inspiration from, and they just didn't. They just went, you know what, it's a big middle finger to everything that made Star Wars good. It questions how previous Star Wars films have defined bravery. Oh, this is 19. I'm already 6 minutes in. Balls. Hand in hand with taking a different narrative approach, The Last Jedi makes a point of putting a different spin on many of the core philosophies of the so take Poe Dameron. Traditionally, flyby rule breakers like him have been celebrated as heroes in the Star Wars. Not so in The Last Jedi. In episodes, right, okay, I agree with that bit. And it's not so much questioning. It's not questioning how Star Wars defines bravery. Later, due to his arrogance, Poe very nearly derails Leia Holo's plan to save... Oh, right, okay, here we go. Right, okay, here we go, yep. Last Jedi's decision to make an example of Poe wasn't for everyone, but for those looking at something different from Star Wars, the interrogation of brash rogues was a breath of fresh air. No, it flipping wasn't. Do you want to know why? Because Holdo's plan, and it's Holdo's plan, not Leia's plan, Holdo's plan is dumb and stupid. Alright, and I know those two words mean the same thing, but it doesn't matter, because it's stupid. I can't articulate the words. I can't even. Right, so this bit I agree. It was interesting to see someone having this great rash plan and it blowing up in their faces. Literally blew up in their faces. Right? That bit was okay for me. If that had been it, apart from the whole your mum jokes bit, didn't need that. But, you know, Poe very nearly derails Leia's and he's... Anyone, right, with this bit here, very nearly derails Leia and Holdo's plan to save the few resistance fighters that are left. If anyone thinks that what he was doing in that film isn't completely justified, then they don't understand anything about the world. Literally, Poe says to Holdo, tell us what the plan is. Holdo says, no, lol. And Poe isn't happy about it. That's not brash, that's not, you know, bravery. That's just him saying, I care about the resistance. If you don't tell us what the plan is, we're all going to end up dead. He's completely justified, and Holdo's celebrated as this fantastic character who's feminism and we have to trust her because she's a woman and all that stuff. I don't care that she has a vagina. If the character is badly written, which Holdo is, it's a crap character. Just because she's a woman doesn't make it better. And I'm not hating on Laura Dern here. Laura Dern seems like a very nice lady, but the character is terrible. Sorry, Laura Dern. Not sorry, Rian Johnson. Grumpy old Luke Skywalker is an interesting and logical character. Oh, no. Think about it, the Force Awakens told us that Luke has disappeared from the known... On his own, would he really have done that if he was still much of a people person? And it's really surprising that Luke would be resentful of Rey coming to them back to the fight. As Jedi, Luke has gone from wide-eyed young student to world-weary, or should that be galaxy old master? It's not a choice everyone agreed with. Still, when you consider Luke's arguments for the dissolution of the Jedi and the fact that he inadvertently created Kylo Ren, it's not hard to see why Luke would be the way he is in Episode 8. It's also not unlike to be forward and human. In A New Hope, Empire, and to an extent, Luke is impulsive, impatient, sometimes cocky, and occasionally given to mean spirit and bursts of anger. Not all Star Wars fans liked seeing Luke go the way he does in Last Jedi, but consider this. Luke becoming a grizzled Obi-Wan like Hermit was part of George Lucas' original plan for a sequel trilogy, long before Rian Johnson came on board. I'm not sure if that bit's true. I don't think that is true, actually. I don't think Luke becomes a grizzled old Obi-Wan like Hermit in any of the extended lore about his character. Right, okay, so here's the crack. Right, a lot of people like to say this about his character, saying that it was the only way his character could have gone. That's not true at all. Right, Luke, I agree that Luke can't be the same person that he is 30 years previous. I understand that. But the foundations of this movie universe is that Luke is the paragon of hope. He's the character that we all sort of go, here is our hero, because he never gives up, even when everyone tells him that You know, something can't be done even when everyone tells him that Darth Vader's evil, even when he's sitting there being electrocuted, electrified by the most electrifying Sith in all of sports entertainment. He doesn't give up. He doesn't give up. He never gives up on his dad, who, by the way, happens to be one of the most evil people that's ever lived. He doesn't give up. But, oh no, his nephew has a few naughty thoughts and he has to kill him. He has to kill him. He has to. You know? It's baffling that was where they decided to go. You can have Luke be an old hermit character, say he fails and he goes, okay, I'm not the person to train the Jedi. That's fine. If he'd done that, that would have been fine. And then at the end of Last Jedi, when he comes out and he faces Kylo Ren, if he's then like, oh yeah, by the way, I'm me again, I believe in hope and all that stuff, and hope is all we really need, then that's fine. But he doesn't do that. He comes out and he picks on Ben a little bit, and then he goes, you know, lol, and he does all that crack, and then he just dies. He isn't Luke anymore. He isn't Luke. Like, why do you think everyone got so hyped at the end of Mandalorian when he showed up and kicked all that backside? He's one of the most beloved characters, and they turned him into one of the most hated characters just because this version of Luke isn't the Luke that fans love. By the way, I didn't agree at all that this is what should have happened to Luke in the first movie either, so just so people get that clear. And that's this again, right? That he becomes world weary or galaxy weary or whatever. Becomes the old master, right? It's not a choice everyone agreed with. Arguments for the dissolution of the Jedi. But it is. The thing is with Luke, he knows the mistakes that have been made by the previous Jedi. And in the books, that's exactly what happens. He learns from the mistakes that caused the Republic to fall. In this, it's like, this isn't even the same kind of mistake that the old Republic made with Anakin. This is just a dumb character. A dumb character mistake that Luke Skywalker wouldn't have made. But, you know, the film frees Kylo Ren from being the new Vader. Does it? I don't think it does. All the ways the Force, perhaps the most glaringly obvious example. Everything about Kylo Ren, his dress sense, his... Right, so I sort of agree with this. I wanted just to be made clear that the only thing that I actually liked about The Last Jedi was Adam Driver. Actually, the only thing that I really, really liked from the entire trilogy was Adam Driver. Like, it took these movies for me to discover how great of a person and actor Adam Driver is. So thank you, I suppose, to Star Wars for that. But I guess that it's true. He's I mean, I'm not sure about being a more conflicted and emotional man. He's just a different character to Darth Vader. Yes, Force Awakens sets him up as a sort of new Darth Vader, but the more we actually learn about him, the more we are, he isn't Darth Vader. He's nothing like Darth Vader. He's trying his best to be like Darth Vader, but despite what he thinks, he never will be Darth Vader. Because while he's completely conflicted, most of Darth Vader's life isn't conflicted. He doesn't care that he's killing the Jedi because he thinks he's doing the right thing. To me, I don't fully understand how this is sort of. I've got nothing more to say about it. The film delves more deeply into the nature of the Force than ever before. One thing that this helps. Its underlying mysticism largely courtesy of the elusive yet ever-present Force. Taken beyond some hawky religion, The Last Jedi explores the Force more meaningfully than any time. Understanding of what the Force actually is. At the beginning of her training with Luke, Rey envisions the Force as a balance between life, death, and decay that feeds a new life, warmth, cold, peace, violence. While Luke's 3 lessons to Rey may evoke his own training with Yoda in The Empire Strikes Back, The Last Jedi, the student, and the Master enter a much richer dialogue, and this time the Elder Jedi's. Right, Force projection, that was dumb and wasn't very good, so it's not better for having that in it. What's Force time? What was Force time? I don't know what that's referring to. It's been a while since I've watched The Last Jedi, but I'm not sure that I know what that Force time is. So this bit, saying that it's delved deeply into the Force just because Rey says this thing. So if you actually read some of the Star Wars books, it makes it completely evident that all Force-sensitive people view the Force a different way. One Jedi views it as a sort of ocean with everything being flown, backwards and forwards, and that's how he's able to manipulate it. People see it as wind, people see it as music. So the fact that Rey sees it this way isn't an extension of the Force law or anything like that. It's nothing like new that she sees it this way. This is more of a reflection on her than it is about the actual Force. So it's not really that's not really anything that adds to the film all that much, and it doesn't add anything to the Force either. Emphasizes the use of brains over brawn, and there's a picture of these two. So what fascinates is, right, that people when they sort of mock Attack of the Clones for being the worst Star Wars movie, that they say it's got a very terrible romance arc between Anakin and Padme, because the pair of them have no chemistry, and yet people justify this, like the romance between these two. And I want to preface everything I'm about to say here by saying Kelly Marie Tran seems like a very nice lady, and she didn't deserve everything that happened to her. So let's just read what this person had to say. I suppose shoot first thing, never approach, backfires, and that's just a different road to go. But with a plan of action slightly more nuanced than just blowing stuff up. It takes breaking away from the fleet, finding a casino planet contour bite in search of a master code breaker, then improvising when trouble with. Right, so here's the crack, right? Every single scene that takes place with these two is dumb. It's stupid and completely damages this movie. A lot like every scene apart from the stadium scene in Attack of the Clones that features Anakin and Padme in it takes away from that movie. This does exactly the same. This storyline is terrible. The other problem is that most of the other storylines are also terrible. The Holdo Poe one is terrible, this one's terrible, and Rey and Luke and Kylo is the only semi-decent one, but even then it's not that good. So, first of all, they come up with a great plan, right? Yeah, the great plan is find this super cool person who's the only person in the galaxy that can do this one thing, right? Takes breaking with then improvising when trouble with local authorities occurs. It doesn't. They don't improvise. They get thrown into a cell, and it just so happens that another person who can only do this one thing that only one person can do happens to be in the same cell and is willing to help them. It's got nothing to do with improvising. Nothing at all. It's just sheer dumb, stupid luck. And it's another classic example of that terrible plot armor that some Star Wars medias have, where they basically go, well, the Force, I guess. It's not very good. I hate when it does that. It establishes that the Force is with everyone, not just the Skywalker bloodline. That's the worst thing about this film! Right, okay. This is a lie. The Force is not with everyone. The Force is created by everyone, but it is not used by everyone. So, the Force is only accessible to Force-sensitive people. Right? With kids. Mainly Force-sensitive children who are then trained as either Jedi or Sith. It is not with everyone, so I'm sorry, little 8-year-old broom boy, you cannot be a Jedi. Alright, and it doesn't at any point claim that the Skywalker bloodline is the only one that can use the Force. What it does establish is that Force-sensitive children can use the Force. The whole point of it, you can't have this movie universe where you say Destiny and Chosen One and all that stuff, and have it so that everyone can be special, because it's not. It's a very romantic idea, but as the Incredibles say, if everyone's special, then no one is. All the characters would be boring, and not very good. But, you know, that's it. Oh, Broom Boy. It's strange to us that fans found this development unsatisfying. Everyone can will the universe change. Yeah, but it doesn't mean that everyone. It says that anyone can be, as in, you know, that person over there might be Force sensitive. Doesn't necessarily mean that person is. Excuse me. The idea that everyone can be, it takes away from the romantic nature of the Force, of the Jedi, of the Sith, of these mythical sort of creatures, beings. You know, it takes it away. It takes away the romantic side of it. And it doesn't say that it's specific lineages. Believe me, and not a lot of people were happy about that, and not a lot of people were happy that it's just the thing's called the Skywalker Saga. You can't then go, oh yeah, you're no one. Doesn't matter. Porgs are quite possibly the... I want to die. This is a reason why The Last Jedi is great. Because of a little furry cute thing. You friendly creatures. I never found cute stuff that any Star Wars creatures ever been more adorable than the Porgs, the feathery little critters that live on Luke's adopted home of Actor. Invented by the... Oh yeah, there's the frost foxes. Right, okay. Dumb. All of this is dumb. It's stupid. This is a ridiculous reason for why this movie's good. I want to see a dramatic space soap opera. I don't want to see little furry creatures. Now you might say, oh well, everyone does. Children want to see small... Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Have the little hijinks. We don't need to have them in every flippin' scene, because they seem to be every scene when Luke's there. I don't want to see little hijinks with the little keepers or whatever they're called. And these things, I don't need to see one of these getting panicked when they see another one being eaten. I don't care about that. It's got nothing to do with Star Wars. And if all you're doing is creating cute creatures to appease children, you're not going to attract the people that you want to keep attracted, which is the hardcore fans. Hardcore, that's such a daft word. The loyal fans, the lifelong fans that you've already got. The heartbreaking reunion of Luke and Leia. Oh, this should be fun. Seeing Luke and Leia together again after all those years was always going to be poignant for those of us who grew up watching Star Wars. In The Last Jedi, brother and sister are finally reunited after a big scene. Screen break of 34 years for only the briefest of moments. Older but familiar, with Leia herself broken down following her near-death experience. Watch that Last Jedi scene, the nods that catch Tristan along with us, pushes us right over the edge into full-blown blubbery tears. Yes, right, okay, yes. So this is the Paul Walker conundrum, right, is what I've called it. And people are going to get upset when I say this, but I'm saying this not because I dislike Paul Walker, or I dislike the Fast and Furious movies, but just listen, okay? Putting something in, to capitalise on someone's death isn't good. Apart from the fact that Carrie Fisher unfortunately passed away, right? This line doesn't mean anything. If she was still alive, this line wouldn't mean anything. Because it doesn't make sense. It would have made more sense if he'd walked up, say if in a perfect world, Carrie Fisher would still be alive. It would have made more sense for Luke to go up to her and go, there's still good in him, I feel the conflict, or something like that. That would have made more sense, because it would have referenced something that Luke has already achieved, which was the retribution of his dad. This scene was put in, and it doesn't justify this movie being a good movie. Yes, when he says that to Leia, all of us go, oh, because Carrie Fisher passed away, and it's really sad, and we know that it's sad, but we didn't need that in the movie. It doesn't make the movie better. Yes, Fast and Furious 7 completely capitalised on the death of Paul Walker. I don't care what anyone says. So did Fast and Furious 8, so did Fast and Furious 9. I haven't even seen Fast and Furious 9, but it did. It emphasises the power of hope against all odds. You just whinged that the right... Oh! You just whinged that bloody Luke was done well. With the possible exception of their past back from Rogue One, in so many ways, The Last Jedi is the bleakest... No, it bloody isn't. What the hell are you talking about? The bleakest Star Wars film. Return of the Jedi is bleaker than it. Come the end of the film, Resistance is almost completely wiped out. Kylo is laid in the First Order and Luke is dead, but despite it, all the spark of hope remains. Even in the face of overwhelming odds, the rebels and the one Jedi left alive in the galaxy continue to burn with optimism. The Last Jedi is a film about failure, but the movie doesn't dwell on defeat. Rather, it teaches the failure that failure can make us even stronger. This is a hard but vital lesson for young and old alike, which has always been at the heart of Star Wars. No matter how dark things seem, we may never lose... Right, okay, so 2 points. First of all, this is exactly why Luke's character was completely wrong, because this is him. This is him. No matter how dark things seem, we never lose as long as we keep hold of our hope, which is Luke. And they took that off him and gave it to someone else. Right? Now here's the other thing. This is right. Now, the reason the likes of Empire Strikes Back is Blake is because when they all lose, which they do, and they do lose, the only victory that Luke gets is that he manages to get away, right? And so do the rest of them. Han doesn't. Han gets turned into a, into a Calippo or whatever, and they're not all happy and laughy and shaking hands and flirting with the handshakes and so on. They're all depressed because they've just got their backsides kicked. That's why it's the bleakest Star Wars film. This, right, despite the fact that none of them lost because they didn't, everyone's smiley happy. Everyone's in a good mood. They've just lost tons of ships, tons of people have been killed, Luke's dead, and everyone's smiley happy. Doesn't make any sense. It's not bleak. They're all, best mates. Rey and Poe introduce each other, even though they're both there on that silly green planet that they were hiding on originally in Force Awakens, because they've never met before. It doesn't make any sense. Rey doesn't lose because she finds out what she's wanted to find out. She's been trained slightly. She saved them all. They've buggered off. They haven't lost anything. The only thing they've lost is Luke, and they didn't have him in the first place. God. It's the more... Oh, for fuck's sake. Give over with this bull crap. One thing that both lovers have hated... That's it for the best looking film in the Star Wars. Completely agree. It's definitely the best looking film in the Star Wars universe. Actually, Solo is really good looking. Perhaps tied to standalone story. Oh yeah, Rogue One's also really pretty as well. That's fair enough. It's all thanks to Steve Yedlin, director Ryan Jones. Right, okay, yes, yeah, okay, fine. But based just on that, The Rise of Skywalker is a good movie. Rise of Skywalker is really pretty as well. Just saying that a movie's pretty doesn't make it amazing. The fundamental thing about a movie is that it has to be a good story. And this isn't. That's number 10. Oh God, if they say anything about a love story or like that, I'm going to smash my screen up. It features some of the best acting in the series. Okay. Last Jedi is a film that forces the actors to go along on the characters they're playing. What are you talking about? Are you saying that Mark Hamill in this film is better than Mark Hamill in every other version of Star Wars? Shut your mouth. Right, completely agree, right? Writing is absolutely terrible. These two, unfortunately, they're really good they're very good actors, the pair of them, but they couldn't save their characters. Benicio del Toro's character is completely pointless and just doesn't need to be in the movie at all, and I've already explained about Laura Dern. Yes, Daisy Ridley with a poor writing isn't too bad. Mark Hamill, this is not his best performance as Luke, and he'll tell you that because he doesn't think that this Luke is his best Luke. If it's a different character, fair enough, but Luke Skywalker, nope. Adam Driver is a brilliant actor. Fair play to him. John Boyega asks, yeah, fair enough. Sneering Andy Serkis gets sliced in half, doesn't matter, his performance is pointless. Sorry, Andy Serkis, we love you. Domhnall Gleeson shouldn't have been a hilarious character. He gave a Hitler speech in The Force Awakens. He shouldn't have been a hilarious character in this movie. Doesn't make any sense. So that's it. It's genuinely surprising from beginning to end. Everyone always says this as well. This is another one. I don't know. No one would say The Last Jedi is the film you can easily predict. It's probably the most shocking Star Wars film since Empire. In fact, from beginning to end, there are surprises in store from dismissing fan theories about. Forget about Rey Kenobi. Think Kylo is evil simply because Darkseid? Think again. He turned on his hero uncle, turning him first. So it's big bad wrong. Kylo kills the Emperor Fate in The Last Jedi second night, making himself the new boss level bad guy. Right. So you basically summed up what's wrong with this movie. Right, so it says it's probably the most shocking Star Wars film since Empire, in fact. So if you asked most movie sort of buffs, they would say the biggest and greatest cinematic plot twist was the scene from Empire. Got 30 minutes, bugger me. and that the reason that that movie is so shocking is because there aren't tons of plot twists. There's not loads of them. There's one right at the very end. We say that Luke doesn't stand a chance against Vader, which I don't know if you want to count that as a plot twist. I'm pretty sure everyone thought that he wasn't going to stand a chance because Obi-Wan and Yoda says he isn't ready to face Vader. I suppose Han Solo getting frozen, but I mean, not really. People might say Lando turning on him, but Leia spends the entirety of her time when she's there not trusting him. So it's a sensible thing. With The Last Jedi, there are too many plot twists, and it gets less about being, a shock and being more like, oh god, there's another one. Oh god, there's another one. And literally, you've put them on subverting expectations of Force Heroics. That wasn't a plot twist, but okay. Yep, Rey Kenobi, that was a plot twist. Having her be no one was a plot twist. Yep. Luke turned on him. That's another one. Yep. Kylo killing Snoke was another one. Yep. Luke turning up and saving the day, but then actually not, and then actually dying. There's about 7 plot twists there, and they all take place in the space of about half an hour. It's like, what do you want me to do? Do you want me to just sit there and go, oh, bloody hell, I was expecting that, I wasn't expecting that, I was expecting that. What does it achieve having that many plot twists? It shouldn't have that many plot twists. Oh, right. There's one thing missing from Star Wars as a whole. It's a much romantic film about Last Jedi and spades. Consider the other great Star Wars romances: Anakin and Padme, appearing as dull as dish. Hey, chill out. Han and Leia, cute, but relatively underdeveloped. What are you talking about now? What? And let's not even get started on Luke and Leia. Yep. Last Jedi, on the other hand, is like one long seduction. As the same incompatible Kylo Ren and the stories with Ren and Rey, the heroes slowly fall off. See, one of the big problems with the fact that this was made by 2 different people, like the trilogy, sorry, is that in The Force Awakens, I got a brother-sister vibe, and in this, it was supposedly romantic, and then in Rise of Skywalker, it seemed familial again. I don't think either of the directors thought, you know what, we need a definitive sort of relationship between these two. It just, made me uncomfortable. It just wasn't very nice. The throne. Oh, bugger. Do I need to say anything about this? Have we not figured this out yet? This is the dumbest scene that has ever happened, ever. This got ranted and raved as the best Star Wars lightsaber duel or lightsaber fight ever, and it's literally the worst. Obi-Wan against Darth Vader is better than this. It's so dumb. In another life, because I'm on 33 minutes here, on another life, I would sit and I would show you exactly every single thing that's wrong with it. And I've only seen this movie twice. Right, I've seen it twice. And I can tell you every single dumb little thing that's wrong with this scene. I'm not even going to read it. I'm not even going to read it. That opening sequence. Oh, bugger. Listen, I feel, I'm not even reading it. No, nah. Before the hold on. What? Not everybody likes to hold them over here. This. There's a resistance cruiser that blow a hole through a spring load of Snoke's flagship. Raise a few questions. What is to stop everyone from... No, it doesn't. No, not maybe not. It doesn't check out in terms of Star Wars logic at all. It doesn't. It's not one of the most striking Star Wars scenes. Yes, it looks pretty. Again, we go back to the other point. It looks pretty, but it's not one of the most striking It's not one of the most striking Star Wars scenes ever. It isn't. That's literally the exact right point. Oh, there's a big Death Star. Oh, we'll just get one of our big ships and fly it straight into it. One life for saving millions. Why has no one ever... It's essentially the same thing, the same principle as why on earth would they build a port in the Death Star that blows everything up? It doesn't make any sense, and it just adds another plot hole that needs to be fixed by God knows Dave Filoni probably, because he bloody fixes everything. Luke justifies the existence of the prequels in two... Oh, fuck off. Shut up. I already know what the two sentences are, and it's stupid. For all who claims the right just to kill Star Wars and I never understood the franchise, that is completely wrong, because he doesn't understand the franchise at all. There's no better example in this than that stuff. Listen with Ray. That explicates the lessons learned from the Star Wars prequel trilogy in just 2 lines of dialogue. In case you need reminding, the dialogue goes, at the height of their powers, they, the Jedi, allowed Darth Sidious to rise, create the Empire, and wipe them out. It was a Jedi Master who was responsible for the training and creation of Darth Vader. It was also a Jedi Master who trained you. Fake Luke. Right, this line does my absolute boobs in. These 2 sentences do my boobs in, because you know why? It completely disrespects this man. They don't allow anything. Yes, their arrogance doesn't allow them to see Darth Sidious when he's obviously the Chancellor, and that much makes sense, right? But it's also an ode to just how powerful Darth Sidious is and how arrogant he is, in that he's able to hide from them in such plain sight. You can't say the Jedi need to die because they let Darth Sidious come to power. That's completely ridiculous. Darth Sidious manipulates the entire galaxy to come to power. It completely backhands everything that the man does in those movies. It doesn't justify the prequels. It says, these are the prequels, these are stupid. That's basically what those 2 lines do. I bet now that we've all seen the sequels, there's a lot of those Star Wars fans who aren't pretending that the prequels never happened. And any Star Wars fan, right, who thinks that you can't take anything of value away from the prequels, just don't understand Star Wars at all. Literally, it's Anakin Skywalker's story, Luke Skywalker's story, and the 3rd series should have either been Luke Skywalker's child story or Leia's story. Leia's story would have been a good one, would have been the better one. The rebuilding of the Republic, that would have been the better way to actually do a Star Wars sequel trilogy. Oh god, the Luke Skywalker showdown. Many fans will be aware that a key influence of George Lucas' original vision was Akira Kurosawa, the iconic Japanese director famed for his samurai epics. Both in terms of underlying philosophy and to an extent fighting style, the samurai are a huge influence on the Jedi. Say a final showdown that really takes its time, builds tension and emphasises character. It's beautifully framed and cut, and the ultimate revelation that Luke's not even really there only makes it a more powerful moment. Wrong. 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 All of this is wrong. This fight scene is stupid and it's dumb and it's completely ridiculous. So a poor Luke Skywalker character bullies Kylo Ren and then goes, lol, gotcha, gonna be in your dreams, and then bloody disappears before we cut to him where he actually is and just dies. This is nothing like a samurai fight. Are you really going to talk about samurai fights and not mention Anakin against Obi-Wan or Darth Maul against Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan? It's like, not even just samurai, just pure sword fights. This is nothing compared to that. There's 2 moves. He does the little sort of flip thing that he does, and then he just lets him not kill him. Kill him, but I don't know. He just lets him do it. It's dumb. It's dumb. Dumb. And this point, dumb. Dumbo. Number 1. Let's see what number 1 is. Roast. Right. Okay. Again, I should preface this by saying KB Marie Tran seems like a very lovely lady and did not deserve the bullying that she got. Right, okay, that's the first thing I'm going to say. She is also the worst written character that Star Wars has ever produced. And they produced Star Wars. And they produced Star Wars. They produced Jar Jar Binks. And Sebulba. And they also wrote Anakin Skywalker's flirting methods. No. She isn't the true spirit of Star Wars personified. Force Awakens may have essentially given us variations. One, her introduction as a low-ranking engineer underlines the theme that a person's importance is not dictated by their family heritage. The death and subsequent war heroes as a Oh yeah, okay. So it doesn't matter about the family heritage, but we'll just pretend like her sister didn't just sacrifice herself to kill all those guys. Yeah, okay, yeah. Bullshit. Secondly, Rose is the closest realistic Star Wars fan within the Star Wars universe. She's nerdy, socially awkward, and visibly geeks out meeting Finn, especially when he says, "May the Force be with you." We dare say a whole lot of fans can relate. Did Benb just call me nerdy, socially awkward, and visibly geeking out when someone says, "May the Force be with you"? It's a bit of a low blow, Benb. This is also incorrect. The closest approximation we've seen to a realistic Star Wars fan within the Star Wars universe? Don't agree with that at all. Above all, though, Rose's spirit encompasses the real message of the movie and indeed the franchise. Her emphasis on compassion over aggression, the optimism that good can and will prevail, all summed up in the lines, "That's how we're going to win, not fighting what we hate, saving what we love." Right, all of which can only make it worse that Rose actress Kelly Marie Tran wound up with the focus of a racist hate campaign from so-called fans, and that Lucasfilm saw fit to pander to these bullies by reducing Rose's role in The Rise of Skywalker to 76 seconds of screen time. I suppose that's one way to unlearn what you've learned. Right. So here's the thing. She was the focus of a racist hate campaign, and that was horrible. That is absolutely not how things should be handled at all. Lucasfilm saw fit to pander to these bullies. They weren't pandering to the bullies. They were taking out a badly written character. Let's not unlearn what we've learned. This scene, by the way, that she's talking about isn't the one from the picture, because we would have memories of that actual scene if we actually saw the picture, because in that scene there's a giant plot hole in that Finn's driving full power in a straight line, and somehow Rose manages in the same kind of vehicle to drive at full power round and crash into him, thereby essentially dooming all the rest of the resistance, all because she has a little crush. In what would have been a good move by having Finn sacrifice himself to save everyone else, just because, lol, I love you. The other thing about Rose, right, is that it says her emphasis on compassion over aggression, right? So one of the things that Rose lectures Finn on is slavery, right? Now, Finn's character, John Boyega's character Finn, is taken as a child and made into a stormtrooper by the evil, First Order. He knows what slavery is. He's been a part of it. Doesn't ever say that she has? I don't know. I've only seen this film twice, so you'll have to tell me. But she's lecturing him, and then, despite the fact that they're on, a race for time, she goes, "Oh yeah, we have to save animals as well." We're trying to save the galaxy, and you care about saving the animals? Don't make any sense. Don't make any sense at all. But that was me reacting to this. Let me know down in the comments what you think. Yeah, dumb. Not very well written. Like the video, subscribe, ding the bell to be notified when we upload. We upload every day. Thanks for watching. I need to know.